with Strategic Retirement Solutions. I'm one of the advisors here on the team, and thank you for stopping by. I want to take a little bit of time today to talk about a topic that is really something that I think doesn't get enough attention, right? And this is the rules surrounding Roth conversion, and it's something that people oftentimes get wrong. That specifically is that the 5-year rule, it has two separate 5-year clocks. People really think of the 5-year rule as kind of one hard and fast thing, but the first clock there runs the first year that you ever contributed to any Roth IRA, right? So let's say that you opened a Roth IRA in 2022. We're now in 2026. It's only been 4 years, so we're only 4 years into that clock number one. All right, clock number two starts fresh with each Roth conversion that you do, right? Withdrawing too soon, you can end up triggering taxes and penalties, right? So if you open that Roth IRA in 2022, made a contribution in 2022, then you made another contribution in 2024, that's a separate clock for that 2024 contribution that we're talking about, right? These are some of the mistakes that I talk about all the time, right? For my clients, I always like to say there's more than one right way of doing things, just like there's more than one wrong way of doing things. So certainly we are very interested in doing things right, but we are also equally and potentially even more interested in helping our clients avoid doing things wrong, right? The next piece there, Roth conversions are a strategy to evaluate and not automatically assume. Roth conversion is something that recently has been talked about as essentially the silver bullet, right? The solution to tax problems in retirement. But what a lot of people don't necessarily understand is to say every time you do a Roth conversion, that gets added directly to your adjusted gross income. And therefore, if not planned correctly, you could end up triggering things like income-related monthly adjustment amount or surcharges to your Medicare, right? By doing a huge chunk of Roth conversion and only being comfortable with the tax consequence, you may not understand the healthcare cost consequence that you're also triggering. Then the window between retirement age 73 or 75, depending upon when you were born, that's the starting age for required minimum distributions. That could be the best opportunity to do Roth conversion. Now, that's a generic rule of thumb. That may not be the case for you because the specifics of your plan are going to be different than anybody else's, right? No two plans are the same. This is why it's so important that you work with a planner who can model in the specifics of your plan and your case, right? Again, retirement plans are like snowflakes. No two plans are exactly the same. This is, again, why I also may make the argument that the old 60-40 adage or the 4% rule isn't necessarily going to be right for you and your plan, right? So we need to not necessarily just be concerned about, what advice is going to cost you, but also you need to understand the concern is to say, what not seeking good financial advice can also cost you. And this is why I always like to say, it's important that you go and sit down, talk about your specific case, and educate yourself so that you can make the most informed decision that you possibly can with a trusted professional. So if you're interested in topics just like this, right, the 5-year rule, things that could trip you up along the way in retirement, I want you to go to retirementprotected.com, dive a little bit deeper, learn a little bit more about things that retirees, pre-retirees, people living in retirement should be thinking about, and some of the mistakes that you can try to avoid along the way. Once again, I'm Will. Thank you for joining us. And again, that's retirementprotected.com.